The embargo on Avengers Endgame spoilers has been lifted, so let's talk about it now, shall we? Welcome to Comic Power. I'm your host, Comic Killer 72. Welcome to another episode of The Quick Flip. This is the program where I go over comic book industry news in a very short period of time. Please subscribe to this channel. Be sure to click on the notification bell as well. It will let you know when a new video is posted in the future. Alright, now let's get right into it. So what happened in Endgame? The answer is everything. But first, let's look at some numbers. At the time I posted this video, it was at $2.5 billion worldwide, which makes it the second largest grossing movie of all time, only behind Avatar with 2.7. Can it get there? We'll see. I lowballed it on my prediction, thinking it would make 2.09 billion, replacing Star Wars as the third largest, but it's now the second. My thinking was due to all the bootleg streaming that people would not go to the theater to see it multiple times, considering that it is 3 hours long. But man, I was wrong about that. We're really drawn to these characters and they feel like family at this point. So to lose some of them really felt sad and made some people actually cry in the theater like it was real. The quick flip format does not allow me to talk about this stuff in detail. So in this video, I'll just touch on the founding Avengers, and I will do a rant video pretty soon where I will go in detail about this. The rant is a program that I do occasionally where I will go into extreme detail. It'll be sort of like a podcast. It'll be audio only. I'll put a link in the description of some previous rants that I did. So in saying that, what did we get? Well, first of all, Scarlett Johansson, who plays Natasha Romanoff, aka the Black Widow, bit the dust. She sacrificed her life in the mission to achieve all the stones getting collected. But this isn't the last we've seen of her. She's going to be in her own Black Widow solo spin-off movie, in which she's going to star and produce, and allegedly has a $15 million payday. We don't know much about the plot yet, but news outlets are stating that it's going to be an Avengers prequel. We'll have to see. Then there's Hawkeye, who was on house arrest during the events of Infinity War, and his whole family turned to dust after the snap. So during that 5-year gap in the movie, he goes really dark and becomes an assassin named Ronin. He gets talked off a ledge by Black Widow when she explains to him that they can undo what happened and bring everybody back, including his family. He is instrumental in the battle in the third act where he saves the Infinity Gauntlet from a bunch of minions of Thanos after he destroys Avengers compound. That brings us to the Hulk, where Dr. Banner has been able to control the Hulk, and he's now Professor Hulk, in which he has all the intellect of Banner and all the strength of the Hulk. This has a comic precedent in which he became Professor Hulk in issue 377, which is a hot book now. Once all the Avengers have done the time travel to retrieve all of the stones, he's the one that does the reverse snap to bring everybody back. But it does damage to him physically, which we'll have to see how it plays out in future movies. Of course, there's Captain America, who proved worthy and was able to summon the Hammer of Thor in battle, and he got the upper hand on Thanos for a quick minute. His story arc was completed when, after they defeated Thanos, he used the stones to go back in time and live a life with Peggy Carter. He returns to our time as Old Man Steve Rogers and passes on the shield and the mantle of Captain America to Sam Wilson, which also has a comic precedent. If you've seen this comic from 2015, Sam Wilson, Captain America. So why Sam and not Bucky? We'll discuss that in the rant video in the future. And then there's Thor. We got a comical take on him with Fat Thor. Some people thought it made Thor look silly, but think about it. He's lost his homeland, his father, his mother, his brother, his eye, everything. And when he had the opportunity to stop Thanos, he didn't go for the head, so he blames himself that all this happened. The Asgardians that survive have a new homeland on Earth as fishermen in a port city. But over a 5-year gap, their king Thor has basically been a hermit who's playing video games and drinking all day and has gotten out of shape. I think this joke went over some people's head because it's basically a callback to The Big Lebowski, a cult favorite movie starring Jeff Bridges as the Dude. The Dude has already been brought back in pop culture in a beer commercial opposite Sarah Jessica Parker, in which he ignorantly mispronounces the name of the product. I'll have a Stella Artois. This actor Jeff Bridges also played Ironmonger in the first Iron Man movie, so this all comes full circle. Ironmonger is dead, so you won't see him in the MCU anymore. But anyway, Thor decides to leave Earth and join the Guardians of the Galaxy in space, and he appoints Valkyrie as the Queen of New Asgard. Of course, of course. And then there's the saddest one of them all. Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark, aka Iron Man, is no more. He has died in the MCU. He went out like a champ in the final battle in the third act versus Thanos. He retrieved all the stones in a nano gauntlet that he created. And the most epic scene ever says, "I am Iron Man." Snaps his fingers and erases Thanos and all his minions. Of course, this power is too much for him since he's only a human, so it kills him. But he gets a chance to say goodbye to his best friend Rhodey, his surrogate son Spider-Man, and his wife Pepper. And it wasn't a dry eye in the theater. Like I said, I'll talk more about Endgame in a future rant video. I was thoroughly entertained. I give the movie 4 out of 5 stars. I don't think it's as good as Infinity War, which is a perfect 5 out of 5 for me. Once you get into time travel, it gets ridiculous, but there's some other inconsistencies I will talk about later. But for now, we'll see over the next couple of weeks if it can dethrone Avatar. That brings us to the speculation and pick of the week. The pick of the week for May 15th, 2019 is going to be Naomi, number 5 from DC Comics. If you haven't been paying attention, DC has a big hit on their hands with this new character. She was created by Brian Michael Bendis, who made a name for himself over at Marvel as the creator of Jessica Jones, Miles Morales, and Riri Williams. He has an exclusive deal with DC Comics now. The comics industry is betting its future that their audience will be more young, be more female, and more minority. So Bendis' talent for creating characters that fit this mold that are long-lasting has made him a hot property. Naomi's first appearance is in Naomi number 1 that came out earlier this year, and raw copies are already selling for $100. It's ridiculous. In the beginning, it seems like this character is just another average black girl in the Midwest. So when she decides to do some detective work on a battle that Superman was in nearby, she winds up tapping into finding out more about herself than she ever knew because she was adopted. I guess by looking at the cover, it gives hints that she really is a superhero. Issues 2, 3, and 4 have also been selling at premium because it was underprinted because they didn't know this was going to become a hit like this. The runner-up is going to be Star Wars, The Age of Rebellion, Lendo, number 1 from Marvel Comics. This character was played by Billy D. Williams in the original Star Wars movies, and he's returning to live action in Star Wars Episode 9 coming out later this year. So that will give a boost to the character, so this could become a sleeper hit later. Now for some news that is not part of the big two, Marvel or DC. Netflix has inked a deal with Darkhorse Comics. It's called a first look deal, which means that Netflix will have dibs on any comic project that Darkhorse produces. No other studio can come up and snatch any Darkhorse projects in the future. Netflix would have the right of first refusal. It may not seem like it, but Darkhorse has had a lot of projects adapted into television or film. Some of these include Time Cop, The Mask, 300 from Frank Miller. Hellboy produced 2 critically acclaimed movies and a 3rd one for 2019, but we're not going to talk about that one right now. The reboot bomb, that's another story for another day. Currently, Netflix is already airing Umbrella Academy from the pages of Darkhorse Comics, and it is a hit. As I reported in other videos previously, Netflix has already inked a deal with Mark Millar, the creator of Kick-Ass and Kingsman, and Rob Liefeld. His most famous creation is Deadpool over at Marvel. Over at Image, he gave us Supreme, Prophet, Youngblood, and other projects like that, so you might see those adapted. The comic book medium is crossing over into the mainstream like never before, and I couldn't be more excited. Bring them all on. The Netflix and Darkhorse deal caused some price increases on some other classic books, such as Lady Killer. This Darkhorse comic made my list of one of the top 10 comics in 2015. It's the story of a woman who's a housewife by day, but a contract killer by night. So we don't know if this will be one of the shows that Netflix develops, but I hope that it is. The co-creator, writer, and artist on it is Joelle Jones, who made my list of one of the top 10 female comic book artists in comics. Link in the description. She's currently the artist and writer on Catwoman over at DC Comics. It's a very exciting time in the comic book industry. You know the drill. Subscribe to this channel, give it a thumbs up, and share these videos on social media so others learn about the channel. And don't forget, I do sell comics at my eBay page listed here. One Stop Thrift and Comic Power are ran by the same guy. That would be me, Comic Killer 72. I am 100% feedback, by the way. Once again, thank you to all my subscribers and viewers who support Comic Power. Until next time, this is Comic Killer 72 for Comic Power saying bye-bye.